So I try to eat a very super healthy plant-based diet. I try to focus 80-90% of my calories coming from whole plant foods like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts and seeds. I really enjoy learning and studying about nutrition and dialing in my diet to optimize my health, my longevity, my athletic performance, and kind of everything in between, alongside with making a positive impact on the planet, on our environment, and the animals that we share this planet with, because we know pretty objectively that a plant-based diet can drastically reduce your carbon footprint, and it requires so much less land and water use to eat a plant-based diet. And of course, you're not aiding in the suffering of billions of animals that are raised for food in this world every year. However, there's three key nutrients of concern for plant-based people that even if you're eating the healthiest, most varied diet in the world, it's very hard to get the optimal amounts of these three nutrients. These nutrients are collectively known as the evidence-based trio due to their kind of stature and importance in the scientific literature, and they're vitamin B12, vitamin D3, and EPA and DHA long-chain omega-3s. And so I just wanted to quickly cover these nutrients and kind of the importance of them. We just released a podcast this week on the Thought for Food podcast, all about kind of the science and the research and the data behind these three nutrients. So if you want to learn more, definitely go listen to that podcast. We dive deep into the science, but basically B12 is actually a vitamin that's synthesized by microbes in the soil. No human or animal can actually produce it on their own. It is produced in like the lower part of our digestive tract, but it's too low to be absorbed. So we have to basically get it from food. And the way animals get it is they eat dirty soil, and they're often supplemented and fed vitamin B12 on factory farms. And that's how we usually get it. We eat the meat, it's stored in their tissues, and we get enough B12. However, for vegans and plant-based people, we don't eat animals, so we must get B12 from other sources. There are many fortified foods, including nutritional yeast, that have sufficient amounts of B12, but you'd have to eat a lot of those foods to get the optimal amount to prevent deficiency. So B12 deficiency is a very serious thing. It can cause irreversible nerve damage, it can cause fatigue, pernicious anemia, and which is can result in death actually. So B12 is the most important nutrient and is absolutely non-negotiable to supplement with if you're a plant-based person. Vitamin D is actually another very interesting nutrient. It's not a vitamin at all. It's a steroid hormone that is produced in our skin when we're exposed to UVB radiation or sunlight. Since most of us spend our day inside, especially in the wintertime or at northern latitudes, we don't get sufficient sun exposure to produce enough vitamin D. And approximately 50 to 70% of the American population is actually deficient in vitamin D. We don't get optimal amounts of vitamin D, so we have to be very careful because vitamin D deficiency is linked with so many kinds of problems. And I'm not going to get into all of them now, but things like bone problems, bone health, fatigue, higher risk for certain diseases, and other things like that. And so we have to really be careful about getting enough vitamin D. That's why it's important to supplement with vitamin D. And D3 is the form that is most bioavailable to ourselves and humans and has been shown to be the best version. And there's very few vegan sources of vitamin D3. And then finally, omega-3s. We've all heard of omega-3s, and we can get plenty of the short-chain ALA omega-3s from things like flax seeds, walnuts, chia seeds, etc. in a plant-based diet, but we're terrible converters of short-chain omega-3s into long-chain omega-3s, which are different, and those two main ones are EPA and DHA. So it's very important to supplement with EPA and DHA because it's hard to get enough long-chain omega-3s. Actually, algae in the ocean and in water is what produces it. Fish, which is a common source of EPA and DHA, don't actually produce it themselves. They get it and it's stored in their tissues. It's a fatty acid because they eat the algae. And so when we eat fish or fish oil, we get those omega-3s, and that's where typical people get it. But again, we don't eat fish as plant-based humans. So we need to cut out the middleman, go straight for the algae, and ensure that we're getting enough EPA and DHA to help with brain health, help prevent brain aging, and a whole slew of other important factors. So I just wanted to talk quickly about that because Aaron and I are very passionate about the evidence-based trio, and that we get asked a ton about supplements and which supplements you should take as a vegan, what supplements do we take, and we're super excited to share with you this brand new company called Light Drop that makes this product called Complement, which is basically a complement to your plant-based diet, and it has it's completely vegan source of B12, vitamin D3, and DHA EPA in all of the best recommended forms. Completely vegan, like I said, and it's also in the correct amounts that the evidence shows that we need in our diet. So it comes in a spray. You can spray it directly in your food like I did. You can spray it in your mouth, and it's a one-stop shop for these three nutrients, and it's a really cool company. I'm actually part of the company. I'm working on kind of the marketing and content side of things, and we're both really passionate. Both Aaron and I take this every day. It's a fantastic product that's really going to help improve the lives and the health of the plant-based movement, because we believe strongly that the strength of the plant-based movement is really dependent on the health and strength of us as individuals. And so we have to set a good example and get sufficient amounts of these nutrients in order to thrive. And so we have a special deal going on. You can save 10% on the lifetime of your order, of your subscription with Complement by using coupon code TFF at checkout. The link will be down below to check it out. And it's just $1 a day, and it gets shipped to your house every 2 months, so you don't have to worry about it. And it really just ensures that you are getting a quality source of these three nutrients. And like I said, if you want to learn even more about them, why you should take them, why the literature is so rich and filled with information on this stuff, please listen to the podcast, which I'll also link down below. And thank you guys for listening, and I hope that you consider taking your health into your own hands and really making sure you're hitting all the bases, even if you're eating a super healthy diet. All right, guys, go eat some plants, take the evidence-based trio, make sure your health is on lock, and go take some epic dumps. I'll talk to you guys soon.